Another crucial Excel skill in case finance is the sensitivity analysis. I've coached 302 Haskane teams to over 180 podium finishes. Judges want to see you've tested your assumptions. You should never present just one MPV or IR number. They will cover two powerful tools, two-way data tables and scenario manager, plus how to chart the results. This is part of the Case Finance and Excel Mastery series, turning numbers into compelling insights. Let's make your financial analysis robust. We start with a basic cash flow that includes negative initial investment and uses dates for accuracy. We're using XMPV and XIRR. This model has a discount rate and a growth rate that will vary in sensitivity. So here's our cash flows, here's our growth rates and discount rate, and then we open up our formulas. So when we open up this button here, what we see is we've got XMPV to calculate the MPV of this scenario, and XIRR to calculate IRR of this scenario that you can see in the IRR and MPV video. We also have created a sensitivity table, and this sensitivity table is basically blank except for where we've made the top of the table, the top left-hand corner, equal to the MPV that we had previously. How do we go about doing this? So I've included some instructions. We add that XMPV formula to the top left cell of the data table. 2A, we've added some discount rates. So we varied the discount rate from what we've got originally. And below, we've added some growth rates. So we varied the growth rate from what we've had previously. The numbers that are in between here are those that we're looking for in order to figure out what the sensitivity looks like. We select the full data tables. We select everything in the data table, which is this gray highlighted area. We then go up to data in the menu. And what you'll notice is off to the right is a what if analysis. And if we click on the what if analysis, it gives you a variety of different choices. In this case, we're going to choose data table that you can see that's happening down below here. Once we've got our data table, our row input cell is going to be C2 and our column input cell is going to be C3. So when we look at C2, and this comes from our original sheet back here. So when we take a look at this, C2 is our discount rate. C3 is our growth rate. What that does is it's replacing numbers within that formula with the numbers that we've put into this row and into this column. Once we click OK, it will create the MPVs, the XMPVs, based on the different growth rates. And then we can start to look at this and figure out how we want to graph this, how we want to use this in our PowerPoint in order to show the sensitivity analysis of the growth rate and the discount rate together. Another tool that's helpful is scenario summary. Again, under our data, what if analysis here, we've got the scenario manager. This is the result of scenario manager. We'll take a look at how this is run. We're going to what if analysis scenario manager. And what happens is once we go to data and select that, we can click on the add button. And to that, we can add a name. Quite often I'll add the name of what we're trying to test here. So our scenario name here is 0. And our change cell is going to be our C3 because what we're changing is the growth rate. So if we go back and take a look at our worksheet, C3 is our growth rate. So we're going to change the growth rate to get some sensitivity upon our growth rate and see what that looks like. Click on OK. And then as we do this scenario, we can put in, this is what we're looking for. This is 0 growth. And these are percentages, so we have to put them into decimal format. And we just repeat that as we add, we give it a new name. This change cell will stay the same. And we just start to put in different numbers here. So 0.002, 0.04, 0.006, whatever we want in order to see what we're testing. Once we've got that happening and we're ready to go, we can start to look at what does it look like. And so once we've got that, we're ready to go to instruction number 6 here, which is the summary. We can tell the results cell that we're looking for. So in this case, C12. So we go back to our worksheet here. C12, if we go down, is our MPV. So in our summary, it shows us the MPV at these different growth rates. If you want to go back and change it, you can go back and change it. You will get a new scenario summary each time you do this. And remember, you have to make sure that you control these in a proper way. The last thing you want to do is select numbers. In this case, we've selected scenario manager. Use results down here with our growth rate changes to graph or show the audience what various growth rates, what effect they have on the NPV. Again, we've got some best practices here. Always include that initial negative cash flow so that you've got your investment. Use XMPV, XRR when the actual dates matter. Present the results visually so that the differences jump out. So graph this, learn how to graph and learn how either in your data table or your scenario manager, how do you pick the results that show clearly what's going to support what you're doing. Sensitivity analysis proves your recommendation is robust, not just based on one optimistic set of numbers. So you're showing them a number of sets of numbers that, you know what, this looks like it works, and it looks like it works under a number of different conditions as we go through. There you have it, how to run sensitivity analysis in Excel using data tables and scenario manager. This is part of the Case Finances and Excel Mastery series, turning numbers into compelling insights. Drop a comment. Do you prefer data tables or scenario manager for sensitivity in cases? Subscribe and hit the bell for the rest of the series. Cam Welsh out. Go test your assumptions and present stronger financial insights.